We're counting down the 10 deadliest doomsday weapons ever designed, ranked by sheer destructive power, range, secrecy, and the threat they pose to humanity. From Cold War giants with city-obliterating yields to shadowy automated systems few dare imagine, each weapon on this list shattered previous limits and forced the world to rethink survival. Some are real, fielded for decades. Others exist mostly in classified files and chilling war plans. But which system sits at the very top, representing the ultimate existential risk? Let's begin with number 10. The high-yield legacy bomb that set the standard for modern nuclear deterrence. In 10th place, the US B-83 thermonuclear bomb stands as the largest gravity bomb in America's active arsenal. With a maximum yield reaching up to 1.2 megatons, it carries more than 80 times the explosive force of the Hiroshima bomb. Designed for delivery by B-2 Spirit stealth bombers and B-52 Strato fortresses, the B-83 is a freefall weapon, a relic of Cold War thinking, where sheer blast radius mattered more than survivability. According to SYPRI and Congressional Research Service reports, the B-83 remains in service today, but its retirement has been announced as part of arms reduction efforts. Unlike modern warheads that ride atop missiles or hide in submarines, the B-83 relies on heavy bombers to reach its target, making it vulnerable to air defenses and less likely to survive in a high-intensity conflict. Its continued presence signals both the enduring legacy of megaton-class citybusters and the shift in US policy towards smaller, more flexible nuclear options. Like and subscribe for grounded breakdowns. Number 9. Russia's Avangard hypersonic glide vehicle enters the tier list as a leap in nuclear delivery technology. Launched atop a UR-100N intercontinental ballistic missile, it separates in space, then plunges back into the atmosphere at claimed speeds above Mach 20. Unlike traditional warheads that follow predictable arcs, Avangard maneuvers laterally and vertically, making its flight path nearly impossible to anticipate. According to the International Institute for Strategic Studies and RAND, this unpredictability gives Avangard a real edge against missile defense systems. No current interceptor is designed to handle such rapid high-G maneuvers at hypersonic velocity. Russian officials state that Avangard carries a nuclear warhead exceeding 2 megatons. Western analysts confirm deployment, but caution that most technical details, like maximum speed, real-world maneuverability, and number of units, rely on Russian statements. The true extent of its capabilities is still debated, but Avangard's blend of speed and agility forces a rethink of global deterrence. Subscribe for more deep-dive tier lists on history and technology. In 8th place, the US B-41 thermonuclear bomb set the American record for destructive power. With a maximum yield of 25 megatons, it was the most powerful nuclear weapon ever deployed by the United States. Designed in the early 1960s, the B-41 was a 3-stage hydrogen bomb carried by B-52 bombers and built for the doctrine of total city destruction. Only about 500 units were produced, but their presence shaped Cold War strategy and arms talks. According to declassified US Department of Energy records, the B-41's yield-to-weight ratio approached the theoretical limits of bomb design. It offered both a so-called dirty version, maximizing fallout, and a clean variant with less radioactive debris, though the clean version's true yield remains debated. By the late 1970s, the B-41 was retired as US policy shifted towards smaller, more precise warheads and strategic arms reduction. Its legacy is a reminder of a time when megaton-class bombs defined superpower rivalry and accident fears drove urgent calls for arms control. Number 7. The Soviet R-36M intercontinental ballistic missile, known to NATO as the SS-18 Satan, redefined what it meant to deliver doomsday at scale. This missile stands nearly 35 meters tall, housed in a hardened silo built to survive even a direct nuclear attack. Its launch weight exceeds 200 tons, making it the heaviest ICBM ever deployed. Each R-36M can carry up to 10 independently targetable warheads, with some versions fielding single warheads in the 10 to 20 megaton range. According to SIPRI and declassified US-Soviet arms control records, The R-36M's MIRV configuration allowed a single missile to strike 10 separate cities or hardened targets across continents. Soviet planners viewed it as both a first-strike weapon, capable of obliterating missile silos and command centers, and a second-strike guarantee if the USSR was attacked. The sheer destructive capacity of just one R-36M forced new limits in the SALT and START treaties, as both sides scrambled to cap the number of these missiles and their warheads. While bombers and early bombs threatened cities, the R-36M brought mass destruction into the realm of rapid, unstoppable missile salvos, setting the stage for the next leap: nuclear weapons that could hide beneath the oceans, ready to strike from anywhere on Earth. Number 6. The Trident II D5 submarine-launched ballistic missile forms the backbone of the sea-based nuclear deterrent. Each missile can travel more than 11,000 kilometers, carrying up to 12 independently targetable warheads with high precision. The Trident II is deployed aboard Ohio-class submarines for the United States and Vanguard or Dreadnought-class submarines for the United Kingdom. These submarines patrol silently beneath the oceans, almost impossible to track or eliminate in a first strike. That stealth makes the Trident force the ultimate insurance policy, guaranteeing a second strike even if land-based missiles and bombers are destroyed. According to the International Institute for Strategic Studies, the Trident system's combination of range, accuracy, and survivability makes it one of the most credible deterrents in the world. Unlike silo-based intercontinental ballistic missiles, which can be targeted, the sea leg of the nuclear triad is designed to endure and retaliate under any circumstances. Arms control treaties have focused on limiting warhead numbers, but the strategic value of a hidden, mobile launch platform remains unmatched. As the world's navies invest in new generations of ballistic missile submarines, the Trident II D5 stands as proof that survivability, not just yield, defines the modern doomsday arsenal. Number 5. The Soviet perimeter system, known in the West as Dead Hand, transformed doomsday planning by shifting the focus from raw destructive power to automation and decision architecture. Activated in 1985, Perimeter was designed to guarantee a retaliatory nuclear strike, even if the Soviet leadership was wiped out by a surprise attack. Its sensors could detect nuclear detonations, measure radiation, and monitor for sudden loss of communication with command authorities. If those signals aligned, a special command missile would launch, broadcasting orders to surviving missile crews across the country. But unlike the pop culture myth of a fully automatic apocalypse machine, Perimeter required a final human confirmation. An officer in a deep bunker could still abort or approve the sequence. According to developer Vladimir Yarinich and detailed in David Hoffman's research, the system was never left on hair trigger. It could only be armed by the highest levels of the general staff during a crisis. Western intelligence learned of Perimeter only after the Cold War, fueling debates about the dangers of ceding life-and-death decisions to machines. The existence of such a semi-automatic system raised new questions about crisis stability and the risks of accidental war. Its legacy foreshadows today's worries about artificial intelligence in nuclear command, where the line between human and machine judgment grows ever thinner. Number 4. The Tsar Bomba stands as the largest nuclear explosion ever unleashed by humanity. Detonated over Novaya Zemlya in October 1961, this Soviet device delivered a blast of 50 megatons, more than 1,500 times the combined force of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The bomb itself measured 8 meters long, weighed nearly 27 metric tons, and relied on a 3-stage thermonuclear design. To give the crew a chance at survival, engineers attached a parachute weighing over 800 kilograms, slowing the bomb's descent and buying the Tu-95 bomber just 3 minutes to escape. Even so, the shockwave damaged the plane as it fled. The explosion vaporized everything within a 35-kilometer radius. Windows shattered nearly 1,000 kilometers away, and the mushroom cloud soared higher than 60 kilometers, visible from more than 1,000 kilometers. According to the International Institute for Strategic Studies and declassified Soviet records, the Tsar Bomba's pressure wave circled the globe several times. Its psychological effect was immediate. Khrushchev called it a warning to the West, while physicist Andrei Sakharov, who helped design it, later described the test as a demonstration of satanic destructiveness. The device was deliberately de-rated to limit fallout, but if built for its full 100 megaton potential, it could have rendered vast regions uninhabitable. No weapon since has matched its raw scale, and its legacy remains a cautionary symbol of the extremes reached during the nuclear arms race. Reaching the top three, the cobalt-salted bomb stands as the ultimate theoretical doomsday device, one that could poison the planet, not just destroy cities. The concept is chilling in its simplicity. Take a standard thermonuclear bomb and surround the core with cobalt-59. When detonated, the intense neutron flux transforms the cobalt into cobalt-60, a radioactive isotope with a half-life of 5.27 years. Unlike ordinary fallout, cobalt-60 emits powerful gamma radiation for years, blanketing continents and making recovery impossible. Rand Corporation studies and academic analyses from the Cold War mapped out the consequences. Even a single multi-megaton cobalt bomb, if detonated in the right conditions, could create lethal fallout zones spanning entire hemispheres. The intent wasn't just to win a war, it was to leave no survivors. No country ever deployed such a weapon. Proposals surfaced in the 1950s and 60s, but the taboo was immediate. Even the arms race had limits. According to arms control historians, the cobalt bomb became a symbol, proof that humanity could design a device to end itself, but chose not to. Some modern analysts speculate about new systems or secret dirty warheads, but there's no public evidence that a true cobalt-salted bomb ever left the drawing board. The threat lingers as a warning. The line between deterrence and global suicide is thinner than most imagine. Which weapon deserves S tier? Tell us below. Number 2, the Status 6, also known as Poseidon, pushes the doomsday concept underwater. This Russian system is not a missile, but a nuclear-powered autonomous torpedo the size of a city bus. Its reactor gives it an operational range of more than 10,000 kilometers, letting it cross oceans beneath the surface, undetected by most current anti-submarine systems. Open-source intelligence, including satellite imagery and procurement documents, confirms the K-329 Belgorod submarine is equipped to launch several Poseidon drones at once. The warhead is where the fear factor spikes. Western defense institutions, like the Congressional Research Service and the Harty School, cite credible estimates of a 2-megaton nuclear payload. Russian media, however, have floated claims of up to 100 megatons and cobalt salting for maximum radioactive fallout, though no Western source has verified those figures. The idea is simple, but chilling. Detonate a massive warhead off a major coastline, unleashing a radioactive tsunami capable of wiping out entire cities and poisoning the shore for decades. Some analysts argue the system's true yield and fallout potential remain speculative, but the threat is enough to complicate any future arms control deal. Poseidon does not rely on human operators or fixed launch sites. Its autonomy and stealth make it almost impossible to preempt or intercept. The debate over its actual capabilities continues, but the evidence for a new class of underwater doomsday weapon is strong, and the uncertainty alone is enough to keep strategists up at night. Autonomous, fail deadly. AI launch systems represent the most chilling evolution in nuclear command, a future where machines, not humans, decide the fate of civilization. The scenario is no longer just science fiction. Rand Corporation's 2024 reports lay out the technical path. Artificial intelligence, paired with quantum computing, could shrink the window for nuclear decision-making to under 60 seconds. That's less time than it takes to read a single news headline. In this world, the old safeguards, deliberation, confirmation, even gut instinct, are replaced by code. The inspiration comes from the Soviet perimeter system, a Cold War relic designed to guarantee retaliation if leadership was wiped out. But the new model strips away the last human checkpoint. If communications fail or sensors detect incoming threats, the algorithm could trigger a global strike automatically. No officer in a silo, no final voice on the line, just a cascade of machine logic set in motion. Congressional Research Service analyses and commentary from experts like Pavel Podvig warn of the risks. Cyber vulnerabilities, spoofed satellite data, or a simple software bug could unleash catastrophe. The system's logic is brittle. Mistake a solar flare for a missile launch or misinterpret a cyber attack as enemy action, and the consequences are irreversible. No government has confirmed deploying such a fully autonomous protocol, but the arms race in AI-driven command and control is accelerating. Militaries are already testing algorithms for early warning, targeting, and launch authorization, each step eroding the space for human intervention. The pressure to keep pace with rivals, combined with shrinking warning times, makes handing over the keys to machines increasingly tempting for strategists seeking an edge. RAND and CRS studies point out that as decision time collapses, the risk of accidental or unauthorized launch rises sharply. A future crisis, sparked by satellite spoofing, cyber intrusion, or even a misfiring sensor, could lock humans out of the loop entirely. The nightmare is not just accidental war, but escalation measured in milliseconds, with no one able to stop it. The existential threat is not a new warhead or delivery system, but the loss of human judgment at the most critical moment. Policy experts urge strict bans on removing humans from nuclear launch authority, warning that even a single error in such a system could erase human history. The lesson from Perimeter and every near miss of the past is clear. Machines may calculate faster, but only people can weigh the true cost of the unthinkable. From the legacy B-83 bomb to the theoretical nightmare of autonomous AI launch, our countdown has revealed just how far doomsday weapon design has escalated. The most shocking entries, like the cobalt-salted bomb and the rumored Status 6 Poseidon torpedo, show that sheer destructive power is only part of the story. Survivability, automation, and psychological impact consistently set these systems apart. Across all 10 entries, a clear pattern emerges. As technology advanced, the focus shifted from brute megatons to survivable delivery, automated response, and even global contamination. The top of the list isn't just about yield, it's about existential risk and how decision-making could slip beyond human hands. This tier list proves that the deadliest weapons are defined not just by blast radius, but by the threat they pose to the very systems meant to control them. In the end, doomsday weapons are a warning of how close technology can bring us to the edge and how vital restraint and oversight remain. Subscribe for more deep dive tier lists on history and technology.